So welcome to the next video. So today's topic is protocol and standards. So myself M. Anup, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Ramapuram Campus, Chennai. So the overview of the slide contains protocol, the elements involved in protocols, standards. So the two types of standard, de jure as well as de facto, standard organizations and the internet standards that we are using nowadays. So what is a protocol? So normally protocol is considered as the set of rules that govern the data communication. So the protocol defines what is to be communicated, how it is to be communicated, and when it is to be communicated. So we are transferring the data from one end to another end. So what is the data that is going to be communicated? So how it is going to be communicated and when it should be communicated. So for communication to occur, the entities must agree on the protocol. So if the protocol does not agree, the data cannot be sent from one end to another end. So the key elements of a protocol include syntax, semantics as well as timing. So what is syntax? So there will be a specified structure or the format where the data is to be sent. So you can see the example. So this example contains 64 bits where 8 bit will be the sender address as well as 8 bit is allocated for receiver address, and the rest of the data, so 64 minus 16 is the allocated amount of bits for data. So that much amount of data can be sent from the sender to the receiver. So this is considered as the syntax and the first element that is needed for a protocol. So the second element is semantics. Semantics means or refers to the meaning of each section of bits that we are going to send. So it is the particular patterns which is used to be interpreted, and the action is taken based on this interpretation. For example, so the address identify the route to be taken or the final message. So that is the question that is to be asked. So here the meaning has to be known to each section of bit which is being sent from the source to the destination. So the third thing that comes under the protocol is timing. So timing refers to when the data has to be sent as how fast the data has to be sent. For example, if the sender produces the data which is 100 Mbps speed as well as the receiver is going to get the data at 1 Mbps, then there will be an overload of the data. So the data will be waiting in the path of travel. Okay, either in wired media or in wireless media, there will be an overhead. So the receiver cannot collect all these data at a time. So this will be making largely lost of the data which is sent from the sender to the receiver. So what happens, automatically these data has to be sent resent by the sender in order to achieve this data towards the destination. So these protocols must be syntax, semantics as well as timing. So all these things will be considered by a protocol. So some of the protocols, commonly used protocols, are file transfer protocol called as FTP, symbol mail transfer protocol called as SMTP, hypertext transfer protocol called as HTTP, so point to point TCP, or some of the TCP called as transmission control protocol, or some of the protocol which is used in the network in order to send the data from one end to another end. So in order to send a file in a remote from a remote host, we are using the protocol called as FTP. So we usually send the mail to the groups in our contacts. Okay, so this can be achieved by means of the protocol called as symbol mail transfer protocol called as SMTP. So while surfing the data in the internet, we are using the protocol called as HTTP. So if you want to get the data in a secured manner, okay, automatically the link in the address bar will shows that HTTPS. So hypertext transfer protocol secured. By means of secure means we are going to get the data, or we are going to browse the data with the help of internet. So point to point, it is used to manage the network communication over a modem. Okay, so the data will be traveling from the modem to the system. So transmission control protocol is considered as the backbone protocol, and which is a widely used protocol, which is connection oriented protocol, that is commonly used protocol. So the standards used is to provide a model for the development that makes it possible for the product to work regardless of individual manufacturer. So even though when we are going to buy a thing, so we will be looking for the standard of that product. For example, if you are going to buy a helmet, you will be automatically seeing is that is the helmet comes under ISI. So if you are going to an organization, so the organization contains so many standards, like it will be aggregated to NAC. Okay, so there will be ISO standards. So if you are getting even any goods, products, food, etc., the each and every product or each and every company will maintain some standard. So why we are what is the need, or why the standards are essential? Because we are living in a competitive world and an open market. Okay, so each and every person will be seeing about the product. Okay, what is the guarantee and what is the interruptibility of the data. So when we are coming into telecommunication or networking, we will be seeing the standard that is providing by the company for these products. For example, when we are going for networking devices, the standard provided is ITU. Okay, so ITU is the standard that is provided for networking devices, right? So the manufacturers and the vendors as well as the government agencies, they provides a guideline. So that comes under these standards. So the standard is divided into two types. One is known as de jure as well as the other is known as de facto. So de jure means that comes under a law or by means of regulations. So the government is giving some regulation for each and every product that is being sold. Okay, so that comes under de jure as well as de facto by means of convictions. So by means of facts, we are coming to a conclusion, and all these things coming under what? De facto. So these de facto is divided into two types. One is known as a proprietary as well as the other one is known as non-proprietary. So you know there are two types of softwares like open software as well as closed software, right? So that also comes under proprietary as well as non-proprietary. So what is meant by de jure? So there will be a legislated standards which is officially recognized by a body, and this is known as what? De jure as well as de facto. I told you already, it is by means of facts and as well as convention we are going to set some standards. Okay, this is going to work like this. Okay, and that is known as de facto. So the de facto is divided into closed standards as well as open standard. So closed standard is completely owned by wholly or whole in the sense completely owned by a company. So they have their own standards for communication. So you know some of the routing protocol, gateway routing protocol called as IGRP as well as enhanced gateway routing protocols are some of the examples of closed standards as well as open standards, or a group of community, a group of peoples or a public domain. They are making some standards for communication between different systems, and that is known as non-proprietary, or we can say it as open standards. So some of the organizational standards are ISO, so International Standard Organization, ITU called as International Telecommunication Union, ANSI called as American National Standard Institute, IEEE Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers, EIA known as Electronic Industries Association, and IETF called as Internet Engineering Task Force are some of the common standards, common communication standards that we are going to see now. So ISO means International Standard Organization. So it is a multinational body whose membership is over 82 membership industrialized nations, which is dedicated to the worldwide agreement. So not for the exchange of goods. Okay, so the main aim is to facilitate the international exchange of goods, providing the models for compatibility, so quality, increased quality as well as the productivity, and for decreased prices we are going for the ISO standards. So when we are going for the telecommunication, so computer network which contains the 5th series as well as 10th series, mainly used for transmission of phone lines as well as for public digital networks, we are using 10th series. For for the transmission or transmission over phone lines, we are using the 5th series. Okay, so all these things comes under ITU, called as International Telecommunication Union Standards, which is related to United Nations, which develop the standards for telecommunication. So the next one is American National Standard Institute, which is affiliated to US government, and the professional society, industrial association, government and the regulatory bodies as well as the consumer groups are included in ANSI, called as American National Standard Institute. So IEEE is a standard. It is mainly used for computing, communication, electrical engineering as well as electronics. So this is the advanced theory, creativity as well as the productive quality in the field of electrical engineering, electronics and radio. We are using project 802. All these comes 2, 3, 4 and 5 standards. All these things comes under IEEE standards. So the next one is EIA, called as Electronic Industrial Association. Mainly the manufacturers is in US, as well as the awareness of education as well as the standard development, lobbying effort, everything comes under EIA 232 as well as 530 standards. It is responsible for developing these standards. Okay, so the last thing is Internet Engineering Task Force. This is the growth as well as the evolution of internet communication. So the standard body of internet itself as well as the reviewing of the internet software and hardware is done by this organization called as IETF. This is one of the standard used. So that's all for this video. Meet you in next video. Thank you.